Hi guys, the videos you're about to watch is called Summer Sunday. It's a glazed overpainting of an underpainting that I did last summer. So I hope you like it, and if you do, hope you'll like and subscribe to the channel for more new content. Thanks for watching. But this is the last one before we do. So the next one we do, we'll start into that. So let me open this video by thanking Emily Jean for helping me with the facial features on that, because I don't have any experience doing that. So, although I have enrolled in a portrait course as of this morning with Marion Dutton, so if you guys haven't looked at that on her online school, you should look at it. Just look at Mass Art Studios at was it massart.com.uk? I don't know for sure. Anyway, look on her webpage. Look on her Facebook page, and you'll see it. All right, let me get the monitor up here. I got sidetracked. All right, let's see. Okay, there I am. Come on, where is it? There we go. All right. I don't know this new thing. You guys in your app, have you seen? Hey, Anthony. Thank you. I have 5 underpaintings sitting here waiting for me to get done. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this thing has 5. So I need to stop underpainting and get around to doing some actual painting. So let me get a couple things shared out here, and then we'll be ready to go. Gotta give people a little chance to get on if they want to. All right, so let me talk a little bit about this painting. All right, that's enough. All right, let's get to work. All right, so I got my monitor up, so hopefully I'll be able to see your comments today. Sometimes Facebook doesn't show them on my monitor, but it shows them on the camera. But who can explain Facebook? Not even Facebook can explain Facebook. All right, so we're gonna start. Let me talk about. So this is an underpainting. This is number 8 or 9, 9, and this 7. No, I think it's. I don't know. I have to go look at my paper. I think this is number 8 in the series of this summer. This girl in the summer dress. Although I changed her dress last time. She had on a blue dress when she was in the summer suspense picture. So altogether, though, it looks like I was looking last night, because originally I started off and I was going to do 6 of these, and then I had 9 planned, and now I've got, if this is 8, that's 9, 10, and I've got at least 10 more planned out. So we'll see how that goes. So hey, Maryland, Western Idaho, you guys are just all over, aren't you? Oh, thank you, Anthony. Thank you, buddy. Hi, Dorothy. All right, so this is this underpainting is painted in oils. We sketched this in pencil, and then we underpainted it. Interestingly enough, but it's okay. The good thing about underpainting is you can add more stuff later. I just noticed I could see the pencil sketch of a tree sitting beside her that I didn't put in the picture, so we'll do that as part of the regular painting. I used a reference photo for this young lady. I found some reference photos of her, and I really like them a lot. So I've used it, but it's very little in the way of what the whole composition of the painting is completely different than the reference painting. I mostly use the reference painting for tonal values. So. All right, so let's start off and get this thing oiled up. So I'll just use some of my, I'm planning to do this all at one time, so I'm going to use my own liquid clear with just a touch more of linseed oil than usual. I want this to be a little more fat than usual, rather than quite as lean as I do when I do landscapes. So let's do that. So let's oil this canvas up. and we'll get about it. It's dry. It's on a regular, what is this? This is a 11 by 14 canvas, I think. Cotton canvas. 7 ounce cotton canvas. 10 ounce with gesso. It's got 3 coats of gesso on it. And then it's got the underpainting on it, which isn't done in oils. So, the underpainting, of course, sets the tono value underneath. Although we'll do some more of that as we advance through the painting. If you guys have any questions as we go along, just put them up there. It's a lot more interesting when I got somebody to talk to. Well, you tell him I said thank you for his service. My niece is currently a colonel in the Air Force. It's hard to believe. I can remember when she was a cadet at the Air Force Academy, but she's been in Afghanistan, I think, a half a dozen times. Of course, I'm an ex-Air Force veteran. I'm not an ex-veteran. I'm an ex-Air Force guy. I'm a veteran, an Air Force veteran. My brother is an Air Force veteran. My grandfather was a veteran in the Army Air Corps. So we're pretty strong military family. All right, so let's start off with some cad yellow, I think, maybe. Well, yeah, let's just go ahead and start. I'm not really sure how I want all this to come out. So we'll just kind of add to this as we go. Now, I used bismuth yellow in one of the other paintings that I did with her. So we'll just kind of start in on this a little bit, and then we'll kind of work our way through it. So we'll start off. We got the good part. You know, a really nice thing about using this burnt umber to lay this underpainting down is that it allows you to set the midtone. If you start with a white canvas, you're already at the top of the value scale, so you can't go any lighter than that. So you end up darkening it, and then and then kind of darkening it, and so that you can build back up. And we're going to paint right onto this church and right onto this young lady as we start. And we'll take some of that back off with Q-tips. I got a tree trunk right there. You probably can't see it on the video, but I do. So I think we'll have this kind of be like, kind of working into a sunset a little bit. So let's add some a little bit of cad orange to this. Let's kind of do a little bit of puddle painting here in a second. So let's kind of pull some of that cad yellow and some of this cad orange together. Start to make this a little more orangey, so we kind of work toward maybe a sunset looking kind of a thing, maybe. We'll see as we go. So I think as I keep going, it's contaminated my brush. Bad. Hey. Oh, Sonia, you can't hear me? I guess I did a sound check at the beginning, but I probably didn't. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's don't do that. Let's just add another microphone, shall we? I'm a fairly soft-spoken guy most of the time, but I do want you guys to be able to hear. Now, once we put this microphone up, if you still can't hear, it has to do with the bandwidth on your internet, not with the video. So, all right, how's that, guys? I can't fix your bandwidth on your internet, but all right. So now I got to clean I'm using a glass palette that I made, so it's very easy to wipe off with just like a baby wipe. So I had some contaminated cad orange. We're going to add to that. We're going to have to go back and rebuild the puddle with some cad yellow and some cad orange. I'm going to wipe the palette off with a paper towel, because when you wipe it off with a baby wipe, it leaves a little bit of mineral oil, not mineral spirits, mineral oil on the palette. I don't really want to take that up to the canvas yet. All right. And paint over where that tree's going to go. So we're increasing the amount of cat orange in this picture right here. We're going to blend all this in a little bit. I'm not too worried about blending just yet. We'll put some clouds and stuff up there too. All right, now we're just using straight cat orange. I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber to that in just a minute. I don't want it to be too candy colored. Oh, you know what? If I'm going to add burnt umber, I guess I better put some on the palette. Hey. All right, so let's add some burnt umber to this. I'm going to add just a tad of burnt umber, not much, just enough to take the candy colored color out of that orange. There we go, that's better. I'm going to blend all this, I'm not too worried about it. All right, let's add a little bit of quinacridone magenta. Oh, I got some on the palette too, from the last painting. Let's kind of put that into the puddle, see how that looks. Oh yeah, that looks good. I'm not going to have much of a blue in the sky. I don't care too much. It's more like either early morning or late in the evening. A little bit more dark on the color, so I want to darken this just a little bit. So we're going to add just a touch. Just a touch. Oh man, that's a big pull. So hang on a second. I picked up some ultramarine blue, paint into that just a little bit. I want to create a little bit of a vignette around this edge. We'll put some more of that down here later, but I'll just paint these in here just to remind me. Just to remind me. All right, let's clean the brush. And then we'll blend this, and then we'll start. See where we're going to go from there. What else are we going to do to the sky? So I'm going to switch to blend this with a large flat brush. We'll start down here in the lighter colors. I'm just kind of using X stroke. We've painted over these trees and over this church. It's no big deal. We can remove that with a Q-tip in a little bit, and we will. I might have to put this tree in here before long, though, so I can remember exactly where it belongs. If you guys have any questions, just put them up there. I'll turn around here in just a second and answer any that you might have. Staying away from that ultramarine blue until toward the end of the blending. And now we'll step into that a little bit and pull a little bit of that into the sky. Just a little bit. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to add some titanium white. Just into this right here on this edge. All right. Maybe we'll drift a little bit of that drift up like that. Not a lot, just a little bit. All right. Now let's blend that. Hey, Emily Jean. If you guys don't watch her channel, you should. The little painter girl. She's awesome. She's an awesome painter. She is. Emily, you missed the first part of the video where I thanked you for helping me get the faces done on the next two paintings that are done. She was like Johnny on the spot, getting me some tutorial videos over for me real quick. Because I painted in the... Or no, I did. Yeah, I did. I actually did paint in the original painting. some facial features, and I knew they weren't right. She helped me out. Little painter wife, that's what I call her. We're like artistic soulmates or something. Okay, that'll do for the sky, I think. For now, anyway. Let's put some clouds up there. I don't want a lot of clouds though, so let me clean this brush. We'll switch over to a filbert to do a few clouds. Put a few clouds up in the sky. Not Lord. Oh Lord, yeah, I know. Just, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm your punishment. Maybe I'm your soul punishment or something. I don't know. Something like that. All right, so I just came across a brush I left sitting in the, without cleaning it. That's lovely. All right, I have to restore that brush tonight. I hate it when it happens. Let's see just how bad it is here real quick. I actually have some really good brush cleaning soap. It actually really does a good job. Oh, it wasn't too bad. That was just left from yesterday, so it's not too bad. Good thing about oil paint. All right, let's set that aside. Let's talk about these clouds. All right, so let's start off with, you know what? I think I'll put the clouds in, and then I'll put the tree in over the top because I want the clouds to be behind that tree. So I'm just loading the brush on both sides with titanium white, with just a touch of that, just a touch, and I do mean a barely touch of that quinacridone magenta. So let's just put just tapping these in, tap, tap it right over that tree. Let's put a few in over here. Maybe a couple little streamers. I like these little streamer clouds. You just kind of hint those in there. All right. Come on, use square. There we go. All right. Clean that brush. And let's just dry that brush off a little more. All right. We'll use the same brush, and we'll just tickle the bottoms of these things and pull that orange up there and that yellow. And they'll kind of become self-highlighting a little bit. I don't want these clouds to pop out too much. I'm going to blend all that out because I'm going to pull that off. You know what? I'll just take that. Yeah, I don't need to do it. I can just do it in a minute. I'm going to buzz them off the tree. All right, so one of the really cool things about this underpainting stuff is that you can modify stuff from the oil. You can kind of paint your whole painting in underpainting and then figure out where you want to, what else you want to, how you want to change it. So I'm just pulling these, feathering these out just a little bit. Yeah. You know, you can't really draw a cloud wrong. Clouds are pretty free. They just kind of float around the sky and do whatever they want to do. Can't see for the text. I can't fix that, buddy. That's Facebook. These are oils. Yeah, always paint in oils. Even my underpaintings are in oils. All right. Okay. Now, before we go any farther, let's do just a touch of cleanup. So I'm going to use these all-powerful painting tools here, these Q-tips. We're just going to pull back this paint. It's a very thin layer of paint. You don't use much paint. Unlike if you're doing like a Bob Ross style paint, you can go through quite a bit of paint. But in this kind of underpainting, not so much. Very little paint. Even in the underpaintings, there's not very much paint. All right, so now I want to kind of take this tree. I'm just going to, you'll be able to see where I scrubbed this tree out, which is, that's fine, because we're gonna paint right back over it in just a second, so it doesn't really matter. don't know why I thought it'd be a good idea to overlap that on her shoulder, but so it is, and so it will be. All right. And it looks like maybe we brought it over here too. All right, let's go work on the church a little bit. I think you can, if you go to the map, if you go to your screen and tap it, and above, I think you can swipe right or swipe left, and it'll take the comments off. I think that's how Facebook does it. Can't remember. All right. Oh, I was going to work on the church. So let's take some of this off the church. Get the church back in here. Get its shadow put back. Now, so you might have a question as to why did I paint over the top of those things with my regular colors, and then I erased it. And the answer to that question is because I don't want a halo around them. If you try to paint right up to the edge, you're going to end up painting a halo, have a halo of paint around your edge, and that's going to look not too good. So this kind of prevents that. I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to pause for just a second. I have to go upstairs real quick and get my diabetic. So I have sometimes I have blood sugar. I forgot at 2 o'clock I was supposed to eat because I was running my mouth talking to Emily instead of doing that. So hang on. It won't take just a second. All right. I'm not going to worry too much about erasing this tree. I'm just going to put some of this, touch this color back up a little bit. All right, there we go. Get that branch out. There we go. So we're going to paint over the top of that anyway, so it doesn't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. There ain't no rules. Well, there are rules, but they don't apply to us. We're artists, after all. You need to know the rules just so you can bend them. Or break them. That suits you. It's always good to learn the rules just so you can, when you're bending them, you know, have a good idea what you're doing. But, all right. Okay, so that's done pretty well there. All right, so give me just about 60 seconds and I'll be right back. It'll just take a second. All right, we'll be back. Feeling pretty good here in just a second. Emily's a big time acrylic painter. She's awesome. She's the boss. Anthony too, dry scale painting. He's a good painter. Acrylic painter. All right, so let's take some burnt umber. I'll put this tree in here so I can remember where it is. I'll run the edge first. I'm going to paint this in here lightly, just so I have it in there. There we go. And then we'll mess with it a little bit more later. All right. I don't do too many straight trees either because straight trees get turned into telephone poles. So, tell you what, as long as we got this color up here, let's go ahead and put this a little bit of this tree in here. Kind of work from the back forward. So. All right. Put some shadows in on these rocks right here. Kind of sketch the horizon line. We won't keep it too much, but the world's very forgiving when it comes to things. Emily might say that acrylics are very forgiving too, but I don't know about that. All right, let's think about this here. We're going to do the girl last. So let's work on this church. Put a little Payne's Gray on the palette. We got a bit of a puddle painting here. Once we got some, kind of tell you what's on the palette. We've got some cad yellow and some quinacridone magenta next to that, along with some cad orange. And then we mix some blue, and then some blue, and some more quinacridone. So our puddle is about 4 inches. We're going to continue to paint into that puddle as we go, but we're also going to need some sap green. So let's work on the church first. All right. So I'm going to use some titanium white. We'll start on the highlights. We'll work this in as we go. You know what? It might be easier if I use, well, tell you what, let's just do this. So we're just glazing over this, get some oil on this brush along with the titanium white. So you'll notice I'm not going to reload this brush, probably, for this whole church maybe, until I change color, because it just doesn't take much paint. We're just glazing a light glaze of paint onto the edge of the church. We're letting the underpainting show through. We want some of that burnt umber to show through. Certainly not trying to cover all that up. We don't want to cover all that up. It's all working for us. A little bit on the steeple. A little bit of white on the steeple here. Come back and work some shadow into that. Alright, so I am going to reload a brush just a little bit. No oil, added just, well, a little bit, not much oil to this. It's an old church way out in the country. So not reloading the brush here because we want to carry the shadow. The side of this building is a little darker. I was thinking I was going to add some Payne's Gray to that, but I don't think I'm going to need to for that part anyway. So this painting will go to the show. We have a show coming up in 2 weeks, and it'll be dry by then. I hope. I hope. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So I'm putting. Let me show you this brush. I want you to. You can probably see here. There's very little paint on this brush. So, shouldn't the trunk be bigger? Or what trunk? No. No, not yet. When painting with oils, you go to highlight that tree, you're going to go outside the trunk to highlight it, not highlight right on the trunk, because it won't look natural. So no. By the time it's highlighted, it will. But it's a good question. So we're adding another layer of glaze right over the top of the layer we just put on. Now on this side over here, the way you can't see what I'm doing, I wish I had another camera, but on this palette, we're loading the brush just a little bit of paint on the brush, and then we're brushing almost all the paint back off of it so that we're creating that glaze. Otherwise, you carry too much paint up to the canvas. There we go. Then we're going to put just a little bit. I'm going to wedge out the brush and make it kind of sharp on the edge. And we're just going to put a little bit of right there. So we don't want to create a halo around this arch either. So all right, that'll do for now. All right, we're going to pick up a touch of Payne's Gray and add to that. Just to start creating this little bit of shadow right here. And we'll carry a little bit of that glaze around the edge here. Okay, now let's come in and let's start creating a little bit darker. Don't want to go too dark too fast, but so these layers of paint are really, really thin. Not putting a lot of detail on those windows. We don't want a lot of detail on the windows. Okay. We're adding this color, but we're going to go back and blend this in a minute. So don't go away for that. Don't miss that part. We got a little bit of secondary shadow right here on the edge of this door. put some of that in there. All right. A little bit right along this edge. Okay. Now, time for questions. Let me see what I got. Yeah, it's hard to take stuff back off. Nope, it's not a cowboy. It's a little girl. You can see the rest of this series are actually on my art page. If you want to check it out, you can see them there. All right, let's do some blending here. It's called the Summer Read series. This is we haven't figured it out yet. It might be the 7th or 8th in this series. All right, so we're going to go along these edges. You know what, though? I think I'm going to put a little bit more of a shadow right along this edge. On this outside edge, I just want to add a little bit more texture along that. All right. We're just going to blend this really softly. Keep wiping this brush off. We want to soften that church because we want to push it back in the background. We're going to carry some of that color out. There we go. As we go. There we go. We'll darken some of these shadows in a second. Let's just get them blended first. So we're blending these shadows so that the colors, you don't really get a feel for where the one color ends and the other one begins. There we go. All right. That's a little girl. She's wearing a dress. But she's not a cowboy. All right, let's add some darker shadows now. And for that, I'm just going to switch to a script blender. And we're still using Payne's Gray. I don't think that's done. We'll find out in a second. But let's go ahead and blend that. So. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's finish the shadowing. Let's just go ahead and finish it. I'm painting a lot of layers of paint here, even though they're really thin. There's a lot of glaze on top of there. Alright, so we got a correction to make. So let's do that. Let's take a Q-tip here. There we go. Alright, now we'll fix it. Now we can fix it. Good thing about puddle painting is that you can move right back to the same colors that you had before. And just put stuff back. If you've already changed up your colors and shades, though, you're in pretty rough shape. Alright, let's start working on this. Well, let's see. Let's put just a little bit of highlight. Let's put just a little bit of highlight right along this edge. These window edges in this door. Okay, that'll do. Okay. Enough of that. Okay, let's move to the ground. We got a tree here, we got a tree here, we got a couple of rocks over here to deal with. And we got all this grass. So let's start to kind of work on some of that. Let's work on the landscape. Thank you, Emily. It's almost time for you to go, isn't it, kiddo? Don't you got to go to the store or something? Okay. Let's start. I should start with some sap green. Pure sap green. Just kind of put some of this in here. And then we'll glaze over the top of that. We want some of that brown to show through. That umber color. Even before we highlight over it. I think sometimes people start painting, you get a little too caught up in, unless you're really striving to be a realist painter, and I don't really go into real photoreal type art too much, because if I wanted that, I could just take a picture. My photographic skills are pretty darn good, so paintings are really supposed to stimulate not only your visual cortex, but your imagination a little bit. So have a little trust in the people who are looking at your art, that they'll be able to, their brain will automatically fill stuff in. I just saw recently, Emily showed me a video about, or was it a video? I think it was. I think it was just a picture about two cubes. One looked black, one looked white. But when you put your finger over the line in between them where the shadow was, they were the exact same color. So, you know, there's that to be thinking about. All right, let's add a little bit of highlight here. I might end up adding another cloud. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm thinking about maybe putting a drifter cloud back here in the back a little bit. So this is cad yellow and sap green. Kind of painting out of the puddle here. We're not going to get going too much on this tree, but we will in a minute. I'm just using a filbert brush here to bring this in. Bring in this ground. All right, now let's build up a little bit around the tree. So let's put a little bit of burnt umber in around here. Not a lot, but a little. And then let's add some shadow to that. I'll tell you what, let's add a little bit more right here. All right. I think in the next picture, in the next drawing, we use the same church, but I think there's actually like a path. But this church here, and this is kind of sitting back by itself, so it's not too prone to that. All right, we're just kind of trapping in some roughage here a little bit. Now we'll put a little bit of shadow back here in the back. So put this shadow toward this tree. We're going to use purple. I know it sounds like an odd color, but you'll see in a second that it adds shadow really nicely. All right, I think we'll put some over this way too. Well, I want to break that skyline up a little bit right here. So let's put this purple in here and we'll leave it at that. And we're just kind of fuzzing the shadows a little bit. All right. Okay. Let's clean this brush. We're still going to stick with the filbert, but we're just going to continue on with this landscape a little bit. So a little more sap green before we highlight these bushes. Kind of running onto her dress a little bit, but that's okay. I don't want to create a halo around her, so we'll wipe that back off with a Q-tip momentarily. There we go. I think I'll add a little bit of purple to that, just to create some shadows back there. Create some motion. There we go. And let me check for questions. Nope, no questions? Okay, let's carry on then. All right, so pick up some cad yellow with just a little bit of oil, just a little bit. We'll highlight these just a tad. And then let's start to kind of. We're going to soften all this in just a minute. There we go. All right. Now, let's blend that. I'm not going to blend it with a filbert, although if I wasn't on a video, I probably would do it with a filbert. We'll just do it with a fan brush. We're just going to soften all this up just a little bit. All right. Let's add a little bit more highlight. Right up here close by where she is. All right. Okay, let's finish this tree back here first. Let's just get that done before we move forward. So just create this back in a little bit. Okay. All right, let's highlight that just a tad. So I'm gonna turn this. I think I'll turn it on the side a little bit, just to make it a little easier for me. I don't want a lot of highlight on this tree, but just a little bit. So we're just putting it down, putting the brush down, and giving it a little bit of a tug. Just kind of round that out. Going just beyond the tree and pulling it out. There we go. All right, now we want to blend that. So let me clean that brush off. That looks good enough. We don't need to. There we go. All right, And now we want to add some dark for the leaves. So I think we'll just do that with some burnt umber. We'll just use this little finishing brush to do that. And all we're going to do, you can see there's not a lot of paint on this brush. We're just going to tap these leaves in using this brush. You can use any brush you want. Doesn't really matter. And we'll take a little bit of sap green with that. See how that looks. This I want it to be a little darker than that. Let's try it. Let's try this. No, still a little bit darker. Let's try this. There we go. That's better. Now we're going to add some other color to it. A little bit of orange. A little bit of orange here on this one side. And then let's add a little bit of this cad yellow. Just gonna tap that in. There we go. All right. And then we want to take, I just want to clean the brush off. A little bit of cad yellow, a little bit of titanium white, create a really bright yellow. There we go. All right. That looks pretty good. I reckon. So let's, using a different brush now, we're just going to add a couple little extra highlights here. Using some of that cad yellow along with some titanium white just to finish this side. Okay, in that section, I think we can pretty much figure that out. A yelling match with the customer. Did you win? Of course you won. Okay, let's finish this tree. I'm not going to show too much of this tree, but let's show a little bit of it. All right, just do the light side of this tree first. I don't want that shadow to be too even. There we go. I'll tell you what, let's just add a couple little purple things in here. All right. Okay. We'll be done with that tree now. All right. Let me see if I got any questions for that part. No more questions? No questions? So take a moment, wipe my hands with some baby wipes. And we're about to start working on this young lady. Well, let's do this side first. Let's do this part first. All right, so let's get some burnt umber. Let's go ahead and color in this rock right here, and this rock right here, and you know, maybe I'll put in another rock right here. Why not? You can do that. You can add stuff to your underpainting that wasn't there initially. All right. Let's darken that shadow a little bit in a couple places with some purple. And we'll come back and add some other shadows to it momentarily after we put the grass in. All right, there we go. All right, that's moved along pretty well. All right, let's switch brushes back to the filbert brush, back to some sap green. Let's put some of this in here. I'm going to put some grass around all that in a minute, but I love a filbert brush. I just love the way that it handles. It's just so nice. And this is actually a Bob Ross filbert brush, I think. Yeah, I didn't know that. Huh. I don't just use Bob Ross brushes, but evidently I have a few. So I'm just going to color this in for right now. It's very kind of coloring bookish, right? This part. Getting up right onto her arm, so I can cover that up with take it back off with a toothpick, but Q-tip. Good Lord, sometimes I open my mouth and I'm like, why in the world did that come out? All right. Okay, let's just carry on with this. Let's kind of get the green laid in here, and then we'll kind of work on the rest of this. So if you're wondering, did he just switch and now he's painting with the other hand? The answer to that question is yes. I'm somewhat ambidextrous. I don't think I try to paint any fine detail with my right hand. I might. I had a stroke a while back though, and I had to learn how to use my right hand because I was left-handed. Turn this down for just a second because I want to get this under her fingers. Alright, now we just scrub that color in. We kind of loosen these strokes, we're not too. Alright, now let's just kind of build this across evenly. And we'll add some shadows to that. Kind of letting that brown show through. That's one of the reasons to put it in there. I think I only have one of these paintings left. All the rest of them have been sold to collectors, so they hanging out in somebody's house. That's awesome. Not that I sold them, but just that they're hanging out in somebody's house instead of hanging in my studio. The art show's coming up though. We'll probably see a lot of paintings leave the studio. Last year we had 24 paintings go out last year at the studio, and we had about in the spring we had another 25 that left to 2 buyers, so that was good. All right, okay, that's got that laid in. Now we can work with it. All right, so we got some of that brown showing through. I need to change my paper towel real quick. And that's good. We want that to show through. So now let's start to add other things. So let's switch to a flat brush. We'll put some grass in here. For different colors of grass. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Yeah, so see, I didn't put that shadow in a while ago. And now you can see why, because we're going to put some grass in here. Put a few over here. Not everywhere, but tell you what, let's put some. I'll tell you what, no, let's don't do that. Let's take some. You turn this brush sideways and kind of pull some things, longer things up here on this side, closer to her where she's at. Here we go. That looks better. All right, let's add some shadows to that. On this side, a few up here, maybe a few more up here. Because remember, the sun's going down, so. Kind of moving around here. I'm paying very much attention to where I know the shadows are going to go for her. So excuse me. What the heck? What am I choking for? Okay. A few more of those moving shadows and highlights right here. You see, I got a mixture on the brush, so let's add a little bit more highlight right in here. Yeah. Okay. Let's highlight our rocks, then we can move on to the young lady. I'm doing pretty okay on time. I have a hard stop at 4 because I'll get something else I got to do. But switch to a flat brush, another flat brush. Let's pick up some Payne's Gray and some titanium white. I'm just blending these colors just a little bit together. I wish I had picked up a little bit more of it. All right. So I'm going to break this rock up a little bit. We're going to do that with some burnt umber, some Payne's Gray. There we go. Gosh darn it. Okay, I'll get it in a minute. I need another color. Hang on a second. No. Yes. All right. Something a little bit darker. Okay. Hang on, guys. I'll look for questions in just a second. Let me get this little piece in here. I didn't like that. It kind of looked like a baseball hat all of a sudden. I didn't like that too much. All right, now we're good. Am I still live? It says I am. Oh, thank you, kiddo. All right, we'll see you when you get back. One second, guys. There we go. My monitor kind of crapped out. All right, as long as I got this black on here, let's put a little bit of more of that dark in here. All right, yeah, I think that's better. All right, let's clean up our little girl, then we'll start working on her. Or we could work on the book first. Let me think about that. Let's not work on the book first. Let's work on her first. All right, so let's start with, cleaning some of this excess paint away. Get some of her arm right here. We're going to end up putting grass in front of her hand right there a little bit, but a little bit off her leg right here. Okay. Well, actually that worked out pretty well. We got some on her head. Okay, that works. All right, any questions before we get going on this part? While I take a drink, keep myself from choking to death for some reason. Wash my hands. All right. Now, really, for the first time, I'm going to look at the reference painting. I haven't put in this grass that's growing right here yet either, by her feet, but I will before it's done. All right, let's get to it then. There's no questions. I'll just paint on until somebody has a question. All right, so let's see. Do I have all the right paint that I need? I think I do. So let's start off with, well, I got enough though. So let's do that. Let's start with her skin tones. I have something new. I have a new color today I want to try a little bit. We'll see how this goes. Maybe. Just not completely stuck in the bottom. This stuff is thick, so it's going to take a lot of oil. Alright, so let's get some out. Yeah, we'll just put it right here. We'll just put it on the palette. So let me put this color on and take it back off, but we'll find out in a minute. Oh, contaminated my brush again. And I contaminated it with purple, so that's just going to make it. There we go. Alright, let's try this again. I think that's going to be. I think this is going to prove to be too thin. Let's find out. I can brush it around. We'll see. going to take some quinacridone magenta and some titanium white and mix this color, and then we'll see how we go from there. So we're adding a shadow underneath her sleeve, along the inside of her arm. And then we're blending it back. So we continue on with this magenta. Put her finger ridges in. Now I'm going to blend that quite a bit. So let's do that. Let's carry on then. Let's see how that looks. That looks kind of... Okay. You want to increase the shadow along this sleeve, so we're going to brush in some cerulean blue. Well, we have any on the brush. Let's try that again. Just and we'll blend that in. We may come back and put some more shadow under that arm in a minute, but we'll see. Okay. We'll see, we'll see. It does, Anthony. It does make it a lot easier. It sure does. All right, so let's carry on here with this color. So we have a highlight on her hand, but we're gonna have a shadow on her dress. So we'll deal with that in a minute. Let's get we're just coloring in the shadow here on her fingers and under her fingers and around the outside of her dress. Maybe some under her hair a little bit and then under her shoulder. All right. Let's go. Let's just go ahead and work on her arm here. We'll stick to her flesh tone for a minute, just to get that kind of worked in. Just to get that part done. All right, now let's carry on. All right, so pick up some magenta. And let's blend that before we do anything else. It's important to get this blending done. Keep this blending force going here. And then just have a little bit of a highlight there. We'll come back and highlight that some more just a minute. You know, I'll tell you what, let's put a little bit more right here. Brush that back in. There we go. All right. Let's see. Let's put in some of the darker shadows. And let's finish blending first, shall we? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So now we're using this cerulean blue to lay in the darker shadows around her fingers, and under her fingers, around her hand. In between her feet like that. All right. We're just blending it. Just blending it. Wiping the brush off every now and then. All right. I think we had it to do again. I'd use ultramarine blue. I used that in the last painting for those dark shadows, and I liked it. When I first started using it, I was like, oh, I don't know about that. Next fact, I think I might even Let's try this. Yeah, I think I'll just stick to that. It's an ultramarine blue. So this ultramarine blue is a darker shade than the cerulean blue that we were using earlier, like 10 seconds ago. But I like it better. It's going to give me a nice... Oh. So, you know, the really interesting thing is you don't have to like have a flesh tone paint. You can make all of this with just primary colors. Blue and cyan. I mean blue and well, cyan and magenta. We're just gonna highlight our fingers just a little bit. So let's add some skin tonal highlights. Maybe a little bit of that right out of here. Not gonna worry too much on that hand because we're gonna cover that hand up. But let's put a little highlight there on our thumb. All right, let's blend that. Nothing a lot miraculous about this other than blending. A lot of blending going on. So we got a fingernail right there, so we're not going to spend a lot of time with that. We'll just insinuate a fingernail in there. And then let's carry on with this darker color. Let's see. Let me look at this. All right. So I thought I was done with the skin tone, but I'm not. So let's get to that part. A little too much right there. A little too much line. There we go. Yeah, maybe even a little, just a little bit. A little more or less. There we go. All right. So let's clean the brush and we'll fix our leg here. I keep looking up expecting somebody's going to ask some questions, but nobody's asking anything. I can't believe that I'm like that good of a displayer. Nobody has any questions at all. All right. Get some shadows in here. There's going to be a shadow right here where her hair is. And along her arm right there. There's going to be some shadow right here. We can darken that with hair though, so we don't need to worry about that too much. All right. So let's add a little bit of quinacridone magenta to her leg because it looks a little pale. So let's add a little bit of color in here. There you go, young lady. All right. Okay. Need to clean my hands for a second. All right, let's work on her dress next. Just kind of get some stuff in here on that. So let's clean the brush. Oh man, I don't think I'm going to get done. I have a 4 o'clock hard stop, but then I'll come back later this evening and finish this probably. But I'll try to. There we go. All right, let's do her. I'll tell you what. Let's do her hair before we. Let me think about this for a second. No, let's do her dress first. Okay, so what color we want to make her dress? How about a light? Let me mix up a couple of colors here and see what I can. Let's see how this looks. Let's try some of that and some of this. How about some turquoise? Huh? All right, so let's go with this. Let's start off in the darker side of that though. Kind of taking a big jump here. We haven't done this color for her before. But, you know, we don't want her always wearing pink. That would just be... I'm letting that underpainting show through a little bit. And we'll add some shadows and stuff to this in a minute. We saw the Victorian painting from yesterday. That was all about shadows. That's what that whole exercise was really about. All right. You may have noticed I'm not doing a lot of brush reloading. I'm spreading this paint out pretty thin. And then the sleeve right here. And the sleeve right here. Alright, and it's got some basic color there for us to work with. Alright, so let's add some creases in here. Some movement. All right. Thank you, Marilyn. I kind of took a big jump of faith here with this colored dress. We'll see what. I mean, I use this color for her in none of this series, but it's okay. She wanted to change her clothes today, so it's okay. So we're just pulling some of this color down along her hand there to create that shadow. There we go. Kind of blending it as we go. Not too much worried about it getting on her hair because we're going to be working on that in a minute. All right, let's add just a little bit more. Yeah. Let me have to back up and look at that in a second. See, I can see how it's coming out. I'm going to darken this shadow up just a little bit. Square it back away. And let's put some more darken here by her hair. Let's blend that. And let's put a little bit more dark right in here by her hair. And let's blend that. And let's put some dark over here. I didn't get any paint. Let's try it again. Alright, let's kind of... Oh, what's happening here? I think I've actually put her dress over top of her hat. My bad. Sorry, kid. Alright, let's put some shadow right in here. Right around the edge of this hat. And then inside this hat. And then under this sleeve some more again. I think it needs to be a little darker than that. Alright. Yeah, okay, that's going to be alright. Let's just blend this out. Let me clean my brush off a little bit. There we go. Okay, let's put a little bit darker. No, that's the wrong color. Sorry guys. Sorry. All right, let's pick up this blue. A little bit of shadow here by her hair. There we go. And just a little on the sleeve, and a little by her hair there. Need a different brush. Just blend this out right here. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's put a little bit of action on her. Let's put a little bit more action on this part. Maybe some like that. We're just barely touching this stuff. There we go. Keep some movement in the mistress. All right. Okay. Let's add just a little bit of highlight to the sleeve. And a little bit of highlight on the sleeve. Maybe a little bit along this edge. And right here on this ridge. Like that. And then maybe a little bit like right here. Let's blend that out. There we go. All right. Hey, Dorothy. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's clean the brush. Let's work on her hat. So we're going to take some cad yellow, some titanium white, some other wild colors. Start working on her hat. So this hat will be a little different than the one she's been wearing in some of the other photos. We're changing the color up a little bit. She loves these floppy hats though, she does. She really likes them. I guess when she's out reading, they shade her from the sun. All right, let's stick with that color and finish this edge right here. All right, and let's add just a little bit more of yellow ochre to that. Create just a little bit more of a shadow look on this side. All right. Maybe just a little bit of purple to that. No, it needs to be more than that. A little bit more purple than that, please. There we go. All right, now let's get the hat band. We want the shadow to come out like that. I know you might not think that when you're painting it, purple is a cool kind of a shadowing color, but it really works out really good. I'm going to blend all that, but we're going to highlight it just a little bit before we blend it. So let's pick up some titanium white and some yellow. And let's just highlight that a little bit. Let's blend this down. Make it nice and soft. And then pull that just a little bit like that. I don't want it to be too even right there. Okay. Okay, let's deal with her hair. So we're going to start off with some burnt umber. Blend some dark. And first we're going to clean this mineral spirits out of this brush. There we go. All right, now let's pull that down. Here we go. Hair's not really that dark, but it's in shadow up there. Okay. Wipe this brush completely out. And blend that. You might be sick of hearing about blending by now, but that's the key to this, is blending. All right, I'm gonna let that sit for just a second. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna pick up some this light color. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of highlight on her. Maybe a little bit right there, just to kind of highlight that up. Maybe some right here on her knee too. That might be helpful. I'm thinking. Just to highlight her knee just a little bit, and maybe a little bit down this arm. I don't want too much in there, especially over here. But okay. All right. Let's finish up her hair now. So let's pick up some cad yellow. No. Let's pick up some yellow ochre. We have to be careful now, because when we pull down into this turquoise, we forget to wipe the brush, it's not going to be a happy day. It's not going to be a happy day at all. All right, let's pick it up again. All right. So this side will be the more highlighted side. Being very loose with this brush. Just blending this right here. All right, need a little bit more shadow there since I just blended it out. So let's, there we go. Keep that shadow in there. Don't want that shadow to get away, because if you do, then it's not too good. All right, let's add a little bit of darker. Just a little bit of dark in here. Now we're going to add some highlight. So let's take some titanium white and some cad yellow. So I'm on the end of my brush. All right. Let's brush all that out now. We'll add a little bit more shadow back in just a second. All right. And we're just blending it back out. There we go. All right. And then some final highlight. Maybe a few little faders here and there, little doers. All right. Okay, that brings us to the apple and the book. So let's take some cad yellow. Let's start in on this apple. I'll look around for some questions in just a second. There haven't been any questions, so you know, all right. Then let's add some red to that. Okay. How about some red? All right, let's add just a little bit of oil to that because it seems to be a little bit dry. There's a little bit of dark right there. Okay, now we can work that around. Thank you, Anthony. I think so too. You know, I learned this from Marion Dutton, and she's awesome, man. She's just got. I followed it through the tiger painting stuff, and she had me do it, you know, because I'm a map, so she had me do it for some other couple of things, and oh, I was like, after I did the tiger though, I was like, wow, I just got to do this. All right, so let's get these pages in here. Be a little tricky near our finger. We'll get it. We'll get it. We're not trying to cover up all of that. All that brown. We don't want to cover all that. Now this side's a little shadowed, so we're going to darken it just a touch. Maybe even with a little bit of burnt umber. Let's try that. Yeah, I think we'll do a little bit more burnt umber. Let's do a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's try this. I want this page to be in a little bit of shadow like that. And we'll add some deeper shadows like right here. Maybe under her finger a little bit like that. Or maybe put a page seam like right there like that. And then let's pull, let's turn the brush sideways to do this part. And let's just kind of, yeah, I think it needs to be darker. Definitely needs to be darker. All right. Let's do a page seam. Like that. And then up like that. There we go. Okay, let's just add some final things here on the book edge. Maybe along the top. Anthony, I'm really glad you're back, man. It looks like your channel's doing great, and that's awesome. I'm glad to see that. I haven't been able to stay on much because I'm trying to get ready for this art show, and I've been really busy. But don't give up on me. I'll be there soon. All right, let's go with. All right, so this book comes this way, and then this book is actually sitting on top of that book, like that, like that. All right, so let's put. Let's mix the color. Let's try that, and maybe a little bit of that. How's that look? Yeah, it looks okay. Now we want to put a shadow underneath of this book, right along this edge, and then along this edge. Just separate those guys out. And then we want a shadow underneath of this book, all the way down, and probably some like right there too. There we go. And then let's do, just for the heck of it, let's just do like and things like that. Just to suggest things, you know, some things are written there in the book. And then kind of rough those pages like that. All right, so let's finish the landscape. Oh my gosh, I think I am going to get done on time. All right, so let's put a couple little doers in here for some grass and stuff, and then we'll call it a day. All right, so let's take some sap green. I want some flowers, some grass right here by her feet. And I want some grass over here next to her fingers, like that. And then I want to highlight some of that. Not a lot, but a little bit. And actually, I don't really think there's too much more I want to do. Let's add a little bit more shadow right in here, next to her feet. Like that. And then let's put some highlights in this corner. And then just kind of blend that out. All right, guys. I think that's about it. Let's put a little couple of purple things over here. Here we go. All right. I think that's a done deal. I think we'll call that. Oh, you know what? I see one place I could put a shadow. Hang on a second. One more place. Let's not leave it. Let's not leave it too fast. Let's pick up this blue and let's put a little bit of a shadow right here on her sleeve like that. Down along the edge of her hair like that. Maybe enhance this shadow just a little bit. Maybe a couple of ones. I don't want to put too much in her hair. But and let's run one last piece of shadow. Like that. All right, let's clean this brush. For those of you who know me, I have ADD, so I have to keep cleaning my brushes as I put them away. So we're just using a little dagger striper, putting in these last couple of shadows. All right, so let's clean that brush. We'll put it away. Then we'll get the blending brush, and we'll do it last. Let's put this away. That looks good. It isn't flat. Let's do this. These guys are both clean. We can put them away. All right. And let's take this little brush right here, and let's just kind of blend all that right there. Do a little bit of blending right there. Some blending down the inside of that arm right there. A little blending on her leg right there. All right. And we'll call that done. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Anything, I know it's a long time, man. Sorry it took so long, but sometimes it just takes as long as it takes, don't it? All right, man. If you guys don't watch Grayscale Paintings channel, you should be watching it. Watch Little Painter Girl's channel. She's awesome. Both those guys. They both do acrylics. Something I do not have a talent for. But you can learn a lot from watching those guys. So we'll be back probably Sunday to paint another one in this series. So we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, if you think about it, if you're watching through this later and you have any questions, feel free to send them to me. Thanks for watching, guys.